Alrighty, guys, welcome to another rundown episode here. This is our SmackDown Rundown of April 24th, 2018. This is the Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Mikey. Let's get into what happened tonight, or, what I just finished watching. It'll be the night before by the time you watch this. But let's get into what we watched on SmackDown on April 24th, 2018. We opened up with The Miz making his return to SmackDown. I thought this was a really good promo here. Highlights I got from this was him saying that he's a better man now after the birth of his daughter, and all his anger towards Daniel Bryan has melted away, and Daniel Bryan must not be as good as a father or as close to his daughter as The Miz is, because if Daniel Bryan still wants to come out and punch him in the face, then that must be the case. Let's see here. He calls out Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan doesn't come out, and instead we get Big Cass. He comes out to the ring. He tells The Miz to interview him because nobody cares about Daniel Bryan, and basically what the whole thing was here is Big Cass says he's tired of being in the shadow of Daniel Bryan, that he was medically cleared at the same time that Daniel Bryan was, but of course all everybody is talking about is Daniel Bryan. So Big Cass is upset about that, and he's got beef with Daniel Bryan now. After this, we cut to the back. We see Becky and Asuka walking through the back there, and then they come across Daniel Bryan, who has been beat up on the floor. And then throughout the rest of the show, they keep telling us that the doctors are checking on him, and there'll be a medical update throughout the night. After that, up next, we got the IKonics versus Becky Lynch and Asuka. I like this here. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce are doing really great heel promos. They do exactly the type of thing that you want a heel to do. They tell horrible jokes while laughing at their own jokes. That is classic heel stuff. Obviously, nobody in the crowd and people watching at home don't think their jokes are funny, but the fact that they think their jokes are funny and that they're laughing at their own jokes makes them perfect heels, doing that perfectly. They also said during the little promo here before the match that, Charlotte beat Asuka, and they pretty much beat Charlotte to help her lose the championship. So by proxy, that means that they are better than Asuka, according to their logic. The IKonics actually ended up getting the win here. Peyton Royce was able to roll up Becky Lynch, and then she also used the ropes to get the pin. The IKonics got the win here. All I will say about the match here, the match itself was a good match, but for Asuka and what this means for the storyline for Asuka, I'm still not satisfied. Ever since she lost at WrestleMania, I'm still not satisfied with what they are doing with Asuka. They didn't have her on the week, the shows right after, the Raw or the SmackDown after WrestleMania. They didn't really include her that much in the shakeup other than saying that she was coming to SmackDown. And now they get her on SmackDown, get her debut on SmackDown Wrestling match as an official roster member of SmackDown. And they got her in a tag match with no real storyline behind it. I don't know, maybe this will lead to a feud between the two teams, and we will, see more of this, but so far I'm not liking the direction it's going. Maybe eventually, we're gonna see women tag team titles, and in which case I actually would be interested in seeing Becky Lynch and Asuka as tag team partners. They're two of my, Asuka probably being, outside of like Ronda Rousey right now, who whenever she comes in, it's just something totally amazing and special. But outside of that, Asuka's probably my favorite woman performer, and Becky Lynch is high up on that list as well, so that would be a great tag team. Let's see what else we got going. We see AJ Styles come out of Shane McMahon's office, and he's saying he's happy because he's going to be in a 6-man tag match, and he's going to his partners are going to be Gallows and Anderson, and he calls it Too Sweet, of course. Let's see what here. We got a little promo here with Naomi talking to the Usos backstage, and Jimmy saying like she doesn't feel great about Jimmy's match against Rowan tonight. She's scared for him. She's got a bad feeling. And then we get a match between Rowan and Jimmy Uso here. Jimmy Uso ended up getting the win with the help of Naomi. They're actually having a pretty good match here. And then Naomi comes out to help out just when it looks like, the Usos could use a little help. She comes out, all the lights turn off, her music hits, and she starts dancing. Rowan and Luke are obviously distracted, and so Jamie is able to roll up Rowan here and get the win. Interesting stuff. Good match, performance-wise, storyline-wise. Didn't really do much for me. I'm just excited to see, an actual match between the teams, one-on-one, when we can get it here. After this, we got Carmella versus Charlotte, contract signing. Speaking of people who are playing heels perfectly, Carmella is playing the heel perfectly. She comes out, she is introduced first into the segment, and she's mad about it. She tells Renee Young, hey, why in the world would you disrespect me? I'm the champion. I should be introduced last. In what world do you introduce the champion first? She plays her video highlight package that she played the week before. And she's demanding that this week that everybody stand up and cheer at the end of it. So she plays through it one time. Obviously, fans are still booing her. She says, nope, okay, fine, play it again. You guys aren't doing it right. And I'll play this over and over again until you guys get it right. At the end of this video package, stand up and cheer. The video package, of course, starts to play again. And then Charlotte, her music hits in the middle of it. She comes down to the ring. She doesn't say a word. She just comes down. I really like her costume here, the all-black costume. It looks really good. She comes out, signs the contract, does the woo in Carmella's face, and then slams Carmella's face into the table, flips the table over on top of her, showing some really good aggression there. I like the whole thing we got there. It was overall just an excellent segment for me. Enjoyed it, a lot of fun. Let's keep going here. Next up, we got a match between Shelton Benjamin and Randy Orton. Initially, Jeff Hardy actually starts to come out, and then before Randy Orton's music even hits, obviously Jeff Hardy's music stopped, and he kind of stops and looks like, okay, yep, I know what's going to happen. So Randy Orton does come out, and then Jeff Hardy sits ringside and watches the match between Shelton Benjamin and Randy Orton. Oh, excuse me. Sunil Singh actually showed up here wearing a mask and attacked Jeff Hardy because obviously Jeff Hardy is going to face Jinder Mahal at the Greatest Royal Rumble this Friday. So he chop blocked his knee. He's wearing a mask, and then of course he runs in the ring, and of course Randy Orton. What else is he going to do besides give Sunil Singh a RKO? Randy Orton just loves to beat down those Singh brothers, so that's what he does. Of course, this distracts Randy, so Shelton Benjamin's actually able to get the win in this match here. Let's keep going here. On the rundown here, the next thing we had was the New Day segment here. They were selling their Book of Booty, and Bar come in, they interrupt, and they mess up the New Day's pancakes, put their hands all over them, say they are the Bar. They say, that they're going to win the Raw Tag Team titles at the Greatest Royal Rumble and go back to Raw, so they're not going to be they're not going to spend much time on SmackDown anyways. I'm glad they at least mentioned that that's a possibility. I think they're just trying to cover their own butts here. I think Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt are going to win, and it was a really bad writing by the writers to, have this shake-up that way, where, you have the Bar going over to SmackDown, and then they're still going to be defending their Raw tag titles. I don't suspect they're going to win and go back to Raw. So, I just would say that, ever since WrestleMania, these past few weeks, WrestleMania week and the past few weeks have not been great for the writers. Again, they're messing up Asuka. They're getting all kinds of stuff with the superstar shakeup and call-ups, wrong to me. Like, I'm glad for the people who are called up, but the way the introductions are going, not a fan of it. The whole crisscrossing thing of, this greatest Royal Rumble and, the superstar shakeup, titles being switched back and forth between the shows so quickly. It's not good. Let's keep going though. Daniel Bryan, we finally get an update here. He comes out of the doctor's office. He says he's fine. He's going to be able to compete at the Greatest Royal Rumble still. And after that, he's going to get revenge on Big Cass at Backlash. He says, why in the world would a 7-foot guy feel like he needs to do a sneak attack on somebody smaller? Makes sense to me. Can't wait to see that match. Can't wait to see anything with Daniel Bryan in it, basically. Then we had a little video package here of Samoa Joe. He says he's going to win the Intercontinental title, and then after he does that at the Greatest Royal Rumble, he's going to sit back and watch Roman Reigns get destroyed by Brock Lesnar. But he does say if for some reason Roman Reigns is able to win and get the Universal title, that he is going to face Roman Reigns at Backlash, and he's going to take the Universal title too if Roman Reigns happens to have it and hold the Universal title and Intercontinental title. I kind of feel, Samoa Joe is going to be unfortunate for him. I don't know if he's going to end up with either of them by the time this is all said and done, but I'm excited for Samoa Joe in general. He cuts great promos, great in-ring stuff. So let's move on to the main event here. It was AJ Styles and Gallows and Anderson versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev and Aiden English. This was a really good match, obviously. Some good performances in here. What I mainly took away from this, what I liked most about this was at the end, when Shinsuke ends up getting the pin here and win. And initially, fans pop for him. They're cheering because fans still really like Shinsuke, whether he's being turned heel or not. But AJ finally shows his frustration. He comes in and attacks Shinsuke, but Shinsuke is able to reverse the attack or counter the attack and gets a low blow again on AJ Styles. And then, he gets that low blow. He does a Kinshasa to Carl Anderson a couple times, and just leaves AJ Styles there in pain, as I'm sure any of you guys out there watching would feel, just as I, feel. Anytime you see anybody take a low blow, you guys out there understand, you feel it yourself and you just get that pain in your gut. So this was the way that we ended SmackDown this week. So this was your SmackDown Rundown for April 24th, 2018. Thank you again for tuning into the show. Please hit the like, subscribe, comment on YouTube. If you're listening to the audio version of this on podcasts, please subscribe there, rate and review there as well. It only helps the show out. Look in the description for the show notes. I'll put in links for, the YouTube channel, Twitter, yeah, I'll put in links for those. Check them all out. Maybe I'll put in a link for my other show that I do about playing Fortnite. The podcast I have over there is doing really well. I already have over 5,000 downloads on that show that I just started a couple weeks ago. I've been doing this wrestling show for a few months now, but the video game show I got going on about Fortnite is really taking off. So if you're interested in that, if you play Fortnite, go check that out. But yeah, thanks for tuning into the rundown, and we'll see you later.